Hey, Summer School Health, it's Mr. Schmidt. Told you guys you're going to get a pre-recorded kind of lesson from me, so wanted to start with our first note guide. I'm just going to go through a few different slides here. You guys will go through the rest of it. You guys can kind of read and go through it on your own, but I wanted to give you an idea of a few main topics that are super important. This is one of the very first things we would do in our nutrition unit, all right? So we'll get started here. All right, nutrient note guide. Like I said, super important, but dietary guidelines, these are a little bit older, but these are the most updated ones we have. Typically this stuff kind of lags a little behind. But some of the large updates here is a limit on saturated fat, and replacing it with unsaturated fat, a specific limit on added sugar. So for you guys that are coffee drinkers out there, if you put anything in your coffee outside of maybe just a little bit of milk or something along those lines, that added sugar is something we're trying to cut from our diet. Caffeine, along those same lines, kind of an upper limit of 400 milligrams, which is the equivalent to an 8-ounce cup. Okay, I know I'm a coffee drinker. I have probably about 8 ounces, maybe a little bit more each day, but try to limit the amount of stuff we put in it. And then there's no limit on cholesterol now. That's changed. That's been kind of a big change. Goes along the same lines as saturated fat and unsaturated fat. But that's the most updated guidelines we have. All right. So picking some nutritious foods. You guys have all seen this model before, that MyPlate model. All right. We're still using that. It's still kind of the most updated model that we see, with the fruits, the grains, veggies, proteins, and then dairy. That has kind of been the most updated model that is being used, outside of an older one that I don't even know if you guys have had a lot of access to, being a food pyramid. But that's what I saw a lot of when I was in your seat in school. So looking to get a well-rounded diet with multiple different things in your diet from each of those groups each day. All right. Non-essential and essential nutrients. The non-essential ones, we don't typically have to get them from food because our bodies can produce them. The essential ones, though, we need some form of that being introduced within our diet. All right. And these are ones that we are going to kind of highlight and talk about. So the 6 different categories of essential nutrients, first being carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water. All of these we need to incorporate in our diet at some point throughout the day to make sure that we are getting kind of well-rounded nutrition for our body. All right. You see the different things that all of these essential nutrients provide for us. All right. On the right-hand side there, this is also in your note guide. But wanted to highlight these because this is going to be the basis for when you guys create your final nutrition project and have to create kind of a meal plan, making sure you're incorporating all these essential nutrients into your meal plan each and every day. And we'll talk more about that when we get there next week. Energy from food. Talking about how we get different things out of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Calories, where we use that to measure the energy in our food. Each of these different slides goes through kind of the breakdown as far as a recommended amount each day and where they come from. And each one, I'll let you guys kind of click through that and see this. This link is awesome. If you get a chance to look at it, it talks about sugar in different drinks and different drink options out there, from anything like juice that you would have in the morning to maybe a soda, sports drink, energy drink, things like that. Like I said, pretty cool link to check out. Talking about soda mouth and tooth decay, fiber, and how that plays into our diet. Best sources of different things when we introduce fats. 2 different forms of it. This goes back to the dietary guidelines, that's saturated versus unsaturated. All right, and seeing how those are directly linked to different diseases that have become more prevalent in our society. High fat diets and the different health risks that it can lead to. Talking about trans fats and what those are. Highlighting proteins, again, the recommended amount, the things that they do, different best sources there for you guys, the vitamins and minerals that we don't really typically think about, but they're super important for our diet. These vitamins and minerals are essentially like keys that help our body unlock the different essential nutrients that we use for energy, like carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. If we didn't have these, our body wouldn't really be able to access and use that energy in any way, shape, or form. So they are extremely important for our diet. Vitamins are broken down into 2 different classes there, highlighting a few of them, and then talking about minerals and where those play in as well. All right, things like calcium and iron, sodium as well, and then finally finishing up with water. Water being a huge important thing for you to have each and every day. All right, this is probably one of the most essential things that we could have if you're looking to really improve your overall health and make you feel better on a daily basis. Drinking more water is the easiest way to do that. All right, making sure you're getting enough water into your system so that you are able to stay fully hydrated and making sure that your body's functioning at like kind of an optimal level. All right, in the red there it says you should drink half your body weight in water each day. That's a great marker to see if you're getting enough ounces in. You can kind of break it down based on your own body weight, what you feel like you may need. It is difficult to drink that amount of water if you are not a big water drinker on a daily basis. As much as it is great to have that juice or that soda, maybe that energy drink or that sports drink, they do a lot more in the way of harming us, keeping ourselves hydrated because they dehydrate us. But water being a great source of a way to keep our body up, like performing at that optimal level. All right. So that's our nutrient note guide for you guys. That's the last slide. I know I kind of buzzed through some of those things, highlighted a few, but I wanted to make sure we covered some of that information and you have a little bit to go off of. When you guys take your notes, you'll be able to read through that a little more in depth. Check out that link like I mentioned about the sugar in the different drinks. You guys will get another one of these pre-recorded lessons later on this week. Probably highlight another note guide or maybe something from one of your documents. Have a great rest of your Monday.